Hello, I'm Matt, and welcome back again to How to Use a Computer, Part 3. Um, so like I said in the last video, I'm going to be looking over an office suite. And so what is an office suite? Well, an office suite is something that they use in offices, basically, but you can also use it at home. And so what an office suite is it's a set of programs. It's a set of programs that that really help with everyday life. Everyday life. And so these office suites include word processors, switching to another color, spreadsheet programs, and every once in a while, data or database programs. It's a very messy M. And so, I have a lot of space up there. So these are the three basic things that come with almost every office suite, and a bunch of office and some examples for office suites. Office suites are Microsoft Office. You see, Microsoft, they're making computer software all over the place. And also, openoffice.org, which is another open source thing. See, people really like open source, so there's a lot of it around nowadays. There wasn't so much open source back in like the 90s or the 80s, really. So let's look over a word processor. Word. Hey, look, I just by chance selected the same color. Processor. And so word processors, they process words. And what they mean by that is that you can write documents. You can write all sorts of documents, like reports, stories, essays, and the list goes on and on and on and on and on, all off into not really infinity, but you know what I mean. There's a lot of uses for word processors. Write documents. And so these let you and so all these things are basically essential for business, but also everyday life. And so most word processors you're able to change the size of text, change size of text, change the size of the text, make it bold, italicized, or underlined. And word processors easily save, and they can transfer between each other, and they also print easily, so you can print easily. And however, it's kind of, and a processor is what I like to call a WYSIWYG, which is, it kind of sounds like a WYSIWYG, and it kind of sounds like a ridiculous word, but it's actually an acronym. It's WSIWYG. So, whoops. Undo that. And so, a WYSIWYG stands for what you see is what you get. And basically, you can, in the word processor and special word processors, that's strange, and word processors, which are different than regular text editors, you can see what you're writing. You can see it, like, if it's bold, or italicized, or underlined, or if it's small or large. And then when you print it out, it'll look exactly like it does inside the program, inside the word processor. Now let's continue on our coloring convention. Alright, so we use yellows for spreadsheet programs, and I remembered that I have a bunch of space up top here. And so, yellow, spreadsheet programs. And so the spreadsheet programs, they allow you to edit spreadsheets, which can, so spreadsheet, and spreadsheets are columns and rows of all these little cells, boxes called cells. So each one of these is called a cell. And so all these cells contain information, and so you can put in these cells special formulas. I just destroyed my special green color. Formulas. Let's see if I can fix my colors. Okay, here we go. And so inside these are special formulas, which you can see right here. And the formulas, they help you calculate everything. And so spreadsheets are usually used for budgets, like balance sheets. If you've ever learned about balance sheets, if you know what a balance sheet is, balance sheets. And they're used for balance sheets and budgets. And you can also easily create charts and graphs, and you can track finances. You can track finances in spreadsheet programs, and I just figured out why I was writing off to the side, so don't worry about it. I'm not broken or trying to confuse you or anything. And so spreadsheet programs, they're also a what you see is what you get program. So WYSIWYG. And so these spreadsheet programs are also WYSIWYGs. And so once you print them out, which you can easily print them out too, so the advantages of Office Suites is you can print. So you can print them out easily. And so it's kind of like, and you should know what a spreadsheet is if you've ever done finance before. And it's kind of like an electronic spreadsheet. So electronic spreadsheet. And so finally, one of the basic things that you might use are, where's my mouse pointer? Are database programs. And I made that in a nice bright pink color, which is right here. Database programs. And so database programs, they essentially manage databases, and a common database picture is kind of like a stacks of a bunch of short cylinders on top of each other. And so databases are so you can track, like, maybe customers if you're running a business, or you can track a lot of data, and it's presented in tables, and a bunch of different tables. Or maybe you have an employee ID number and then their name, and so you have like ID 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then Bill, Bob, Joe, Jack, and Matt. And so you can kind of organize all your data instead of having, and some people use spreadsheet programs instead of database programs. And so then in database programs, you can use special code that's very easy to learn. You can do what they say, query, and that's supposed to be a Q, not an O like in output. And so you can query data, which means you can call up table rows, and you can call them up by giving parameters, which kind of point to a certain thing. So say say we want to query the person with ID number 4. We'd put in our code and we'd ask for the name of the person with ID number 4. And so when you put that through the database program, it goes through its database, which is essentially a file. Remember that database is all stored in a big file. Like Microsoft Office, it uses like MDB or something like that. I don't exactly remember, but I know OpenOffice uses ODB for a database file, and all the data is stored in there. All these tables, and I'll probably make a whole other video on database. And so you can call through the database program information. So you can see that ID number 4, the guy with ID number 4 is Jack, and so Jack has ID number 4. Well, I'm Matt, and this was my presentation on Office Suites, and I hope to see you in the next video, which I'm not exactly sure what I'll be talking about. Maybe the internet. And so I'm Matt, and I'll see you soon with how to use computers.